Hello and welcome to another episode of R&D Check-In. Today with Petr Bambušek, our senior staff frontend engineer.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, so what does the frontend mean in your name, in your title?
Well, I guess it's a little bit of like relic of the past. I guess that's where I came from originally. Been heavily focusing on frontend as an engineer before staff, and that's I guess where most of my knowledge and past experience in news comes from. So I guess that's where it comes from. But lately I've been moving more towards trying to get like away a little bit from it, slowly dipping into AI and other domains.
Well, I don't think the slowly is the right word, but we'll get to that. But when you mentioned that it was kind of your original domain in news, it's necessary to say that between us there is almost a quarter of a century of working for news. So when you hear that, and you have the bigger part of that quarter of a century, when you hear that, what does it make you feel, and what makes you motivated here?
Well, I'm suddenly feeling old.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's like it's funny, right? Like it, in some sense, it feels almost like yesterday. Like I have these core memories that, having fun in this still little startup. And if you look at it today, if I guess people coming here to Mews today, they definitely see a very different company than I do. So.
And that's fine, right?
Yeah, it is fine. It's evolution, right? It's sometimes it's tough for you, like being here for such a long time. I guess you feel it also, right? Because you have these things in your brain, or like the way how you see things, and they might not necessarily be true anymore, right? So yeah, there's a little bit of conflict, but I guess that's fine.
It's a healthy conflict. I like when there are the people that have the domain knowledge and remember, let's say, the good old days, which I don't like using the word good old days because they were simply old days.
Yeah.
And I love when people come in and they have been through 3 other companies like that, and they can tell you actually, well, okay, this is one way to do it, but there is other way as well. And then there is a kind of it's up to us which way we choose. But let's say, so when you said that you worked mainly on front end back in the day, so what was it that you were working on?
Well, I joined very early. It was.
But wait, how did you get to news? That's an interesting story.
Yeah, that was a funny story. That was actually I met Richard, famous punctuality, way before I joined news. So there was this classmate of me on university. Who was like telling me about news, and I was like, yeah, nice. Like I don't know like anything about news, like the name even. He was telling something about hospitality, stuff like that. Back then I was already like joining different gig. Year later, I was like, yeah, it's not working for me. Let's look for something new. I look up startup jobs. This like Czech startup-ish works, in IT website, and then I found this. Job post, yeah, and it sounds like news, like the thing that he was telling me. So like, cold email, wrote there, nothing happened for a month. After month, this classmate, he reached his house like, yeah, let's talk. I was like, the first thing he told me when we met is like, my boss, he gave me emails like month after, I was going through them.
Well, I mean, back in the day, news equaled Richard Walter. There was nothing else.
Like it was just a few guys in the basement, right? And that's the company I joined.
And so what you were working on?
Anything, right? Like I was still kind of like back in the university. It was like, it wasn't established. Like, I wasn't joining as a front-end engineer. I was just joining company. So anything that was necessary and anything you were good at, right? So I was like starting doing like some websites, a little bit of JavaScript. I, dip in the backend a little bit. Then I also work on this thing called distributor. That was the code name for booking engine.
Commander,
PMS. That was the PMS, right? Like
Navigator,
which
was the
guest portal, yeah. So these code names, we still run them in the code, right? These are the project names, so we still use them because they are easy to remember, easy to spell. Like you don't want to use PMS and all these kind of stuff in the code because they change so often. So yeah, I was working anything that was necessary, anything that felt good. booking engine. I kind of like took over that project and completely like revamped it, like make a version 2.0. It was actually also first React app built in Mews, like, and back then it was version 0.13, like early days. Webpack wasn't a thing still. ES6 was kind of like still being established. Internet Explorer was a really popular browser back then. So all these kind of weird stuff that nobody remembers anymore. So yeah, that was booking engine. And then over time, I guess at some point, guys like saw me as strong at the front end, and was starting like to establish myself as a front engineer.
And you even became head of front end.
Yeah, that that was when we hired the second engineer. So kind of like I got this title, head of front end. Never asked for it. Never really enjoyed it. Yeah.
This is the classic startup. No, you've been here for the longest. You'll be a manager.
Yeah. That's the classic. Like it happened to all of us, and not everybody liked it.
I think you're one of them.
Yeah, true. Like especially early, right? I never really asked for it. They had a front end, and was like never like wanted to like manage people. I was really I had tunnel vision. I was stubborn, kind of like I want to build these things, right? I was like focused on building stuff, solving problems, and it was completely eluding me. This management part. It came later a little bit. Then I was like, okay, let's try it a little bit more. So yeah, at some point, I actually moved back. Dropped the title for head of front end and was kind of like again just an engineer and focusing on problems, and really enjoyed it.
But it's quite, I don't want to say it's super common in news, but there have been cases quite a lot. Yeah, I would say maybe a lot of cases of people actually stepping down as a manager and becoming an IC. And I think sometimes there is this stigma. But do you feel that, or do you think that is a real thing in news?
No. It's like if somebody makes like stigma out of it, I think he is like the stupid person. Well, let's be honest, right? Like you have to try new things, right? So if somebody like came to you and says like I think you can be a good manager, and you are not sure, like just go and try it. And like the worst thing that happens is like you will figure out that it's not for you, and you will step down and you will learn a thing, right? And it's like soft thing, right? Instead of it, like if you would be always like contemplating, like should I do it, should I don't do it, you will learn nothing, and you will be like threading the water and just like being stuck in a place. So yeah, I think it's great that you have this opportunity to step into new roles, and that news is a safe place enough to say like I don't like that new role. And it has been, at least that's what has been the case for me. I don't know if like it has been the case for everyone, but yeah.
So what does, staff engineer in R&D, everybody sort of know what it does, but what does it mean for you? What does it mean in day-to-day job? Is there a day-to-day job, or is that simply any day is different?
I think this is a really tough question for every staff engineer in every company, because it's essentially a wake role. It's not really like defined by anything. Like as an engineer, you can say, okay, I code a lot, right? Like work on these projects. As a staff engineer, you are a leader. I guess it's kind of like a leadership role. You should be perceived as a leader if you are doing it correctly. There can be different variants of it, right? You could be like right hand to your manager. You could be more like a real solver, deep in some domain and solving tough problems. You could be more of like maybe architect, like charting out the big pieces, how they fit together. So it's different for everybody. Because one part of it is that you are often expected to find your own problems. So, you are senior enough and you are trusted with this role already, that you are senior enough to, not be like hold by hand, or given like task. Obviously, there are like some expectations, or you have like specific tasks.
Do you have Jira board?
Sorry?
Do you have Jira board?
Oh, I do one. I have a personal one.
Okay.
That was a thing we did with my manager, like to create more transparency in what I do on day to day, and it actually helped also me, to organize myself, right? Like you go back to the Jira board, and you put random tasks there, and then you can come back to that and review them and see like, oh, I forgot about this thing. So yeah, it creates some accountability, but staff engineer role, it's a little bit vague, it's like. It's not that easy to define.
Yeah.
It has a lot of dubbing into different areas.
And I think we'll get to what you do in just a bit. And maybe the first thing that I will ask regarding this is, when did AI tooling become a real help for you, or real kind of activity booster rather than just a noise?
So I think it was July last year.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't going for this specific, but nice.
No, I remember it because it was really so eye-opening, right? Like I remember that moment because AI was around, for quite some time, like 2 or 3 years. Like we got the first Copilot, and it was like nonsense, right? Like it was a really stupid thing, doing like nothing. It has no context. It was a random generator. Like, smart intelligence, right? Like, being able to fill in what you are writing with like, smart guesses. It was not helpful. Last year, Claude Code starting to really get some traction, being popular, and that was really eye-opening for me. Like you had this tool in terminal or IDE through extension, and it was suddenly able to code. Like you give it a prompt, and it was just able to grasp it and, like making useful edits, not just in a single file, but across multiple files, searching the proper context, figuring out the connections, So yeah, it was really eye-opening, and I kind of like, jumped in and never looked back.
AI opening.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Nice.
Thank you. You mentioned that you were always a builder. You always wanted to solve the deep technical problems. You had little, some blindfolds, and you just did your thing. How did AI kind of enable you to do more of this, or maybe to change that the way you work?
So it's really it like makes you way more faster. It really gives you these steroids. Like you suddenly have this assistant that is capable of doing things way faster than you are, right? So typically, if you want to solve some problems, you maybe we brainstorm them, you plan them, etc. But then at some point you need to go into the execution, and you need to understand all the details, write the code, polish all the bugs, etc. Like think about inserting the AI there, right? And you just like manage it. And it's suddenly you are way faster, and it helps you to spot problems you miss, and it helps you to solve especially things that you don't understand so good, right? Like for example, there's a new library, right? And you need to work with it. You have no idea how to work with it. So in the good days, good old days, you would go to documentation and spend a week or two learning it, and then maybe you would use it. AI can do it in like minutes, seconds, or it already understands the library, right, under the hood. So that's so powerful.
So what's the specific example where AI really, I don't want to say helped you in recently, because it helps, but what is the one specific case where you say, okay, this we wouldn't be able to do some time ago?
Well, what I did, for example, in the past few weeks, I was doing a lot of infrastructure work with Terraform, and I had no prior experience to that. So I would spend, again, right, like weeks learning it and exploring, and then, instead of it, just asked AI to do it, and it just created it for me. And I was like verifying the work and, learning bits from it, step by step. But I necessarily didn't need to go into all the details if it was working, and it was working. So yeah.
Well, and you recently built something called Moxley. You keep hearing Moxley everywhere.
Yeah,
what is it?
So weird, right? Like I had no idea that it would get so much traction. So Moxley was really like a little experiment, a fun project to give AI a little bit more personality. And it is this kind of like idea of having AI available to engineers on their fingertips in the environments they work the most on, and it's running somewhere in the background, so it's not running on your device. So typically, as an engineer, you do a lot of pull requests in GitHub, and if you want to go deeper in the pull requests, you would have to check it out locally on your device, and it means context switch. Instead of that, we got Moxley, which is this AI running on background. You can tag it in pull request and task it with the different tasks or questions. Do a review or analysis of a code if everything's okay.
So every engineer has a Cloud Code subscription. We had Copilot, or we have Copilot. We had Cursor. Why wasn't it enough?
It was good enough, and finally, Moxley under the hood, it's still running Cloud Code, right? Like it's not anything magical, nothing special. We started with the codex, and then Anthropic modules became available on Azure Foundry that we use as a provider internally for API access to AI. So we switched to Cloud Code, and then these tools are obviously enough locally, right? Or they're good. The idea is to actually move the AI to background, right? So that it doesn't run on your device. That's the key point, and I think it's where the next big step in AI adoption is heading to, is that we will start moving away more from running AI just locally. It's cool. It's makes you more powerful, but it's not that scalable, right? If you really want something that runs 24/7, it doesn't rest, doesn't eat, doesn't sleep, it can't be running just on your computer, right? You need to take breaks, you can't just observe it all the time. So we need to figure out how to get AI out of our computers more into the cloud and, do it reliably there.
So what's the real life example scenario of a use of Moxley? Let's say I'm an engineer, I'm working on my pull request, here comes Moxley.
Well, typically, for example, your colleague creates a pull request, you see it, and you spot some, problematic part there, for example, right? And then you are not sure if it could be issue or if the change could be causing any problems. You have suspicions, right? So to resolve those suspicions, you would typically have to deep dive into the code, maybe check out locally, maybe check your, the repository locally on your device. But that means you need to switch from whatever you are doing. You spend more time with the review, etc. So instead of that, you could just, verbalize this suspicion to Moxley in a comment and let Moxley do the analysis. And, AI is way better at figuring out the context, figuring out the connections, and doing it very quickly. And in a few minutes, you get the response, and it can help you alleviate these suspicions. And you're just like, yeah, that's fine. Let's merge it. Another use case, and that's where we put Moxley in Slack. Typically, you have a lot of conversations about some problems with engineers. Like somebody raises issue, you go in a thread, you discuss it. Oh yeah, I know it's causing the problems here and there, and we could fix it. It's simple, right? Like you just do this and that. But then somebody needs to pick it up, that fix. Somebody would have to, have the capacity for it. And nobody's waiting there, I need to fix something, right? What can I do today? Oh, let's pick it up, right? Everybody's always busy with something else. So these things, they never get fixed. So instead, you just say, okay, Moxley, pick it up. Yeah, here's the things to solve, and do it. And it goes and creates a PR for you, and you can come back to it later. So it's really helping in these, things that you can delegate easily.
Where did the name come from?
Funny part. Yeah. So naming things is tough, right? If you could use your imagination, you could come up with crazy stuff, right? Like we were exploring different variants, maybe some mythological names, etc. But it boils down to the fact that we wanted to create users, like real user accounts for Moxley. So the internal ones are easy, like Microsoft Entra account, Slack bot. You can name it whatever you want. There's no collision. The GitHub one is the tricky part, because GitHub is a global and all the usernames are public ones. So you can take only the available ones. and obviously the short ones are taken, right? So you want something short, you want something easy to pronounce, easy to spell, and it needs to be available. So Moxley, that's 5 letters, right? And we were very lucky with it, that we find it. So it really comes from the fact that it was available.
How did you find it? Like, did you run some?
I was running some AI script, a whole morning, and it was like going through hundreds of different names and variations and finding weird names, and suddenly it found this Moxley. It's like,
this is it.
Yeah, this is it. And I was like rushing to take it. I need to create an account, obviously, and it's like, and it really plays nicely because it's easy to say. It has this nice kind of like connotation to like fox, Foxley. So the avatar for Moxley is a robotic fox, and it also starts with the M as Mews. So we have Mews Moxley.
You checked all the boxes. Amazing.
Exactly. It was real luck and coincidence, and it played out nicely.
Let's look at the crystal ball a little bit now.
Okay.
Right now, the common setup is engineers working along with AI tools, productivity tools. Where do you see this going? Because you said it was only last year when you really started exploiting.
It's not even even a year, right?
True,
like the Claude Code, it's really getting faster and faster. So where is it going? Obviously, like the models are getting bigger and better. Obviously, like it's not stopping. So I guess I've been looking to podcasts and other smarter people, telling me what where is it going. So I get these ideas from them. It's not just from my head. I guess one of the ideas is that the local models will be getting better also. So it might be easier to use these tools, cheaper to use them. It's still quite pricey, to use them. But if you look really far, right, away, in like 2 years, 3 years, like you could guess anything, right? But then I guess we will see more of these like autonomous agents, right? I guess the background, it's the like I guess the next thing where we want to put it. More Moxleys or John Smiths or whatever you name them.
That's probably taken John Smith.
Probably, yeah. But they will be more kind of like, I guess, real co-workers of you, right? Like you will treat them as like entities. You will just delegate tasks to them, and maybe you will move more towards like orchestrator, architect, designers roles, and less of your like execution. We will trust AI more. Obviously, there is this question. Okay, like it's easy to build it with the AI, but can we put it in a production, right? Like all these kind of things you need to solve. So I think it's like great things ahead of us.
So that's a future, let's say bigger future, but 13 years in, so many changes. And I think that's one of the reasons what maybe kept you motivated, because you were able to move from platform to product, back, manager, engineer. So what's next for you and what's next for Moxley? Is that kind of what's next for you is the same what's next for Moxley right now?
That's an interesting question, right? Well, Moxley short term, obviously it's like really rough thing, right? Like it's very early, so we have so many ideas how to improve it, so many places where you can hook into it, like different kind of systems. It's nice that Moxley is this kind of like facade on top of AI, and that is ours, so we can fine tune it to whatever we need. We can put it in a systems where the Anthropic is probably not gonna make integration towards Salesforce. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they did. I don't know. But we could put it in Salesforce, right? So you can make these connections internally. So I had no idea that will take off so much. So let's see where it goes. And for me, well, I guess I will move more towards this kind of like AI orchestrator, maybe, less coding. Like, honestly, I don't think I've written a line of code this year, right? And I don't really plan to. I guess AI is good enough at this, and I'm just like verifying what it does. So yeah, let's see how it evolves.
Let's see if you write any line of code this year.
Yeah, you will. I guess it will become more of a hobby, maybe,
True. Like handcrafted. Like
exactly.
Now you also want the handcrafted bread rather than the one from
so we'll have like handcrafted apps.
You'll pay extra for it. That's
no
maybe
AI
the future.
Included.
All right, Petr, thank you so much for joining me. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks.
And as always, we're on Slack. If you're in Mews, you can reach out to us or ask Moxley. And if you're on LinkedIn, Petr, are you ever on LinkedIn? Do you ever respond?
I check from time to time, and I respond. Don't post that too much. I should.
So if you write to Petr on LinkedIn, he may eventually, after a month, like Richard Walter did to him. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.